This is what the Anunnaki supposedly looked like, with these cone head type skulls. So we would naturally think that she is one of the original Anunnaki, or certainly extraterrestrial human hybrid.
Ancient Sumer, when you look at their tablets and what are they saying, and why would they dedicate so much time to talking about this stuff?
How is it that the Sumerians, the world's first advanced civilization, remain almost invisible in school curriculums? These brilliant minds, living in ancient Mesopotamia, modern-day Iraq, gave us so much of what shapes our world today, from the lunar calendar, geometry, and the concept of time to the invention of the wheel, irrigation, and even sailboats. They even developed the first written language. With such groundbreaking achievements, why does this remarkable civilization often go unnoticed? Could there be a reason behind this silence? Stick with us, and let's uncover what might be hiding in plain sight. And don't forget to subscribe. Sumerian civilization gifted the world with advanced systems that laid the foundation for many aspects of modern life. But their accounts of human history are often dismissed as mythology. Why is that? If we gave the same weight to their written history as we've given to their inventions, our understanding of human origins and even our future might look entirely different. Archaeologists can debate all they want about human evolution, but if we go back to the source, Sumerian texts paint a fascinating and often unsettling picture of our past. In 1849, a British archaeologist unearthed 14 ancient tablets in Sumeria, dating all the way back to the 24th century BC. These are the oldest known writings in human history. While many of the stories etched on these tablets mirror other ancient texts, they add a twist to the sacred narratives we thought we knew. Take the Genesis story, for example. Sumerians spoke of a father of all beginnings, but they also described the creators of Adam and Eve, those gods in the Garden of Eden, not as a singular divine being, but as polytheistic gods. And here's the interesting part. They were otherworldly beings, aliens. The first two tablets explain in detail who these beings were and where they came from. The third tablet, it recounts 6 days of creation, or more precisely, the settlement of Earth. But what makes these writings stand out is their bold claim that the human race was genetically engineered by these beings, Anunnaki, and did not evolve by random chance. According to the tablets, even the technology the Sumerians developed came from these alien visitors. So, who were these Anunnaki? The Sumerian tablets describe them as those who came from heaven to earth. They arrived on Earth 445,000 years ago from a distant planet called Nibiru, which orbits our solar system every 3,600 years. Nibiru, they say, was a massive planet, several times the size of Earth, with rivers and lakes that appeared red due to its iron oxide-rich atmosphere. Interestingly, the Anunnaki's home planet faced environmental disaster. Its atmosphere was deteriorating. Their solution? Gold. Here's where things get even more intriguing. There's modern scientific proof that gold nanoparticles can repair a damaged ozone layer and shield against radiation. NASA even uses gold foil in its space stations. And speaking of NASA, while it officially recognizes 8 planets in our solar system, there's been growing speculation about the existence of a massive, yet-to-be-discovered 9th planet. In fact, in 2017, NASA released a report stating that multiple lines of evidence suggest the presence of a Planet 9. Could this be Nibiru? The pieces of the puzzle are there, waiting for us to connect them. Anyways, it all began when the Anunnaki arrived on Earth, beings whose lifespans stretched for hundreds of thousands of years. They established their first mining colony, Eridug, also known as Earth Station 1, deep in the Persian Gulf, under the leadership of Enki. Ancient texts tell us after the kingship descended from heaven, it was in Eridug. But they weren't alone. Along with them came another extraterrestrial race known as the Igigi, enslaved to do the Anunnaki's heavy labor, mainly mining gold. As civilizations began to expand, the Igigi bore the brunt of this brutal work. Babylonian tablets from the 18th century BC confirm these stories. When the gods, manlike, bore the labor, carried the load, the gods' load was great, the toil grievous. The Anunnaki forced the Igigi to endure this never-ending cycle of toil. Eventually, after centuries of unbearable conditions, the Igigi revolted, daring to rise up against their oppressors. But their rebellion was crushed, nearly wiping out their entire race, leaving the Anunnaki without a workforce. Faced with this crisis, Anu, the ruler of Nibiru, ordered his son Enki to create a new race, one that could take on the demanding labor, yet remain obedient. Enki's genetic experiments, as recorded in the ancient Atrahasis texts, resulted in a groundbreaking creation, a hybrid between Earth's Homo erectus and the Anunnaki, this new species, Homo sapiens. The tablets refer to the first man as Adamu, which in Hebrew translates to Adam or man. The Anunnaki put Homo sapiens to work immediately, especially in their mines and throughout Mesopotamia. Interestingly, the word avod in Semitic languages, meaning worship, literally translates to work for, hinting that early humans had no choice but to serve their gods. These Anunnaki were giants compared to Homo sapiens, and according to ancient texts, they lived for centuries. At first, humans were sterile, created solely for labor. But as the demand for workers increased, the Anunnaki modified humans to reproduce. This surge in human population eventually led to overcrowding, and many were exiled from their cities. This, in turn, gave rise to the legend of the Garden of Eden, the tale of paradise lost as a consequence of overpopulation. As humans grew more intelligent, forbidden unions between some Anunnaki and humans resulted in a new race, the Nephilim, or giants of old. These offspring enraged Enlil, Enki's brother and the Anunnaki leader of the time. Enlil feared that humans might one day rise up and threaten Nibiru itself. But despite his efforts, the population continued to grow, leading nature itself to intervene in controlling humanity's numbers. Then something extraordinary happened. Nibiru, also known as the Destroyer, passed close to Earth. This massive celestial body, whose orbit spans millennia, caused chaos whenever it neared our planet. It's even mentioned in ancient texts, like the Colbrin, an ancient gospel found in Scotland, which was omitted from the Bible, much like the Dead Sea Scrolls. The Colbrin warns, "Men forgot the days of the Destroyer. Only the wise know where it went, and that it shall return at the appointed time." The Destroyer, a fierce body of flames, ever-changing. While Nibiru's visits usually passed without incident, one near encounter with Earth led to a disaster of epic proportions. The ancient Sumerian tablets describe this event in chilling detail. Black spots appeared on the sun, Earth's magnetic field weakened, temperatures spiked, and the ice caps began to melt. This wasn't just any disaster. This was the deluge, the Great Flood. For days leading up to it, the Earth groaned as if in pain. Nibiru could be seen in the sky, glowing like a star, a harbinger of the coming devastation. Enlil saw the impending catastrophe as an opportunity to rid Earth of the humans he deemed unworthy. He fled back to Nibiru, but many of his kin stayed behind, observing the destruction from their celestial boats orbiting Earth. The ancient texts recount the horrifying events. Darkness fell during the day, and at night the moon was swallowed as if by a monster. The Earth trembled, shaken by an unknown force. A black cloud rose from the horizon, turning daylight into darkness. Thunder roared, and lightning split the skies. On that unforgettable day, the deluge with a roar began. The South Pole's massive ice sheets crashed into the ocean, creating tsunamis that surged northward, wiping out everything in their path, including the ancient city of Eden, one of the first Anunnaki settlements, now submerged beneath the Persian Gulf. Amid the chaos, one figure stood out: Enki. Unlike his brother Enlil, Enki had compassion for his human creations. He warned a select few, including Ziusudra, the figure we know as Noah, to build boats to survive the flood. The tidal wave ravaged the earth for 7 days, followed by 40 days and nights of torrential rain. The story of the deluge is echoed in civilizations across the globe. Ice core samples from Greenland and Antarctica show a rapid rise in sea levels during this time, confirming the ancient accounts. After the flood, the Anunnaki began rebuilding, constructing new monuments aligned with the stars, much like the pyramids we question today. These celestial alignments weren't accidents. They were part of the Anunnaki's grand design. Before they departed Earth, the Anunnaki left behind the gift of Sumerian civilization, an advanced society that seemed to appear out of nowhere. They taught humans their ways, establishing monarchs to rule on their behalf. But these rulers weren't just ordinary kings. They were genetically manipulated by the Anunnaki to ensure their bloodlines remained pure. This may explain the obsession with royal lineage and the aversion to interclass breeding that persists even today. Some believe the Anunnaki still controls Earth through these royal bloodlines, while others speculate that Nibiru's next approach will mark their return. What will happen when the destroyer comes again? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe for more mind-blowing content.